Hello and welcome to Mumbai Matters. I'm Purva Chitnis, Assistant Editor with ThePrint. Today, in this episode of Mumbai Matters, we will be discussing about BMC's iconic buildings policies. The Mumbai civic body's policy to build iconic buildings in Mumbai has, however, drawn a host of concerns and questions from the city's urban planners and activists. The civic body had come up with this policy in March this year, but following a pushback, it decided to put up the policy open for suggestions and objections in June for a month. Within a month, it, however, received a host of concerns, and so the civic body decided to hold a public hearing to record those suggestions and objections to the policy, which is being pushed by Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who's also the state's urban development minister. The iconic buildings policies defines an iconic building as something that is unique and has distinctive features such as size, shape, aesthetics, or design. The BMC wants to boost tourism in Mumbai, just like how the global cities that have buildings like Dubai's iconic Burj Khalifa or New York City's the Empire State Building. On Thursday, the meeting was held at civic body's headquarters, where around 15 people, including representatives of architects, urban planners, and civic groups, developers, and citizens were present. They had raised their concerns on the proposal by the BMC to include a new regulation, that is the Regulation 33/27, in the Development Control and Promotion Regulation 2034 on these iconic structures. The concerns were also related to the definition of iconic, as the experts pointed it out as vague. Experts felt that the iconic buildings policy is not reflecting the protection existing of iconic buildings, which is concerning because they feel the existing buildings are crumbling. So why are we looking into a new policy and not into the current crisis? ThePrint has tried to reach out to Sunil Rathod, who's the Chief Engineer Development Plan of the BMC, who was at the meeting. However, the calls and the text messages remained unanswered. So let us understand what is this iconic building policy. In March, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who is also the Guardian Minister of Mumbai, had proposed a new policy to promote the construction of iconic buildings in Mumbai to enhance the city's aesthetics and boost tourism. Shinde had cited that since the world is known for its iconic buildings and urban planning, Mumbai too needs its own identity. Shinde said at that time, and I quote, "Mumbai, being a world-class city, deserves to encourage such iconic structures that will not only beautify the city but also strengthen its appeal as a tourist destination." According to the draft policy, which ThePrint has access to, owners or developers should have at least built 1 million square meters in the past, or they should have at least a turnover of 5,000 crore in any of the last 3 years if they want to bid for this policy. The site must have a road access of at least 18 meters in width. Other features include open public space that must be a part of the design. FSI, that is how much building area is allowed on a plot, will follow existing Development Control and Promotions Regulation, that is the DCPR 2034 rules. Besides, additional FSI may be granted by the government at 50% of the land's market value, with revenue share of 2/3 to the BMC and 1/3 to the state government. Other than that, it says no residential buildings will be allowed as a part of iconic building. At least 40% of the building must be open to the public via tickets or free entry. Only new proposals are allowed and not the ones that are existing already. The building may be required to be open to the public or tourists at specific times or days, or may be asked to be lit up or decorated on special occasion. To this draft, the BMC had invited suggestions and objections on June 24th. As per the objections to this policy in a letter written to the BMC, which ThePrint has seen, it raised concerns over the definition of the word iconic. Now let me go through the contents of that letter. It says, The proposed policy defines iconic in a manner that is exclusionary and biased towards commercial spectacle. The requirement that at least 40% of the building be open to the public for a fee disqualifies Mumbai's vast stock of heritage buildings. That is from the chawls of Girgaon to the bungalows of Kamdevi and the Art Deco apartments of Marine Drive. These are the structures that define everyday life and cultural identity of the city. The letter is signed by over 2,200 signatories, including celebrities like Ratna Pathak Shah, to criminal lawyers like Satish Mane Shinde, to civic rights activists, designers, urban planners. The letter further also says the policy encourages commercialized access that turns public engagement into a paid experience. In a city that is already marred by rising inequality, making public spaces contingent on entry fees deepens social exclusion. The letter also criticized that there is no provision for the appeals mechanism or a safeguard against conflicts of interest. For a policy with city-wide implications, this opacity is untenable. That is what the letter contents are. The experts even criticized the policy for its attempted to have universal policy with same rules everywhere. They believe that the policy should not be universal for the entire city but should be ward-wise, as every ward will have different diversity and it is layered. It criticizes the lack of clarity in eligibility criteria, the absence of checks and balances, and complete exclusion of citizens and experts from this decision-making process. Well, these were the objections raised at the meeting. Now, the BMC says that they will go through these objections and then come up with the final draft. Now, whether the BMC does that or not, time will tell. But this is all we have for you in this episode of the Mumbai Matters. For more such episodes, do tune in. This is me, Purva Chitnis, signing off.